about science communication. And during the course of the talk, you will get a rough idea why I talk about science communication. I won't tell you right away. But before we start, I actually like to get to know my audience. And for that, you need a cell phone because we are in 2021 and we use modern technology. Does anybody of you know Mentimeter by any chance? Nobody heard that? Okay, then you will get to know it. Can I ask you to go to menti.com? That's a website, menti.com. I do it myself. You can do it on a laptop, cell phone, iPad, whatever you have. Okay. And once you are there, menti.com, you can do it myself. Then they say you have to enter a code. And the code is on the top right. It's 57578490. Just written on the top. 578490. Wonderful. And then you should see something like Connect 2021, like this. Everybody there? Anybody still working with that? Okay. Still working with that? Yes. Yep, just take your time. You just deducted from your lunch break, so take all the time. No, don't worry. No. Everybody there? The code will still on. And for those who are already there, we just do a quick test. The question is where do you want to go for holidays? It is completely anonymous, so don't worry if the answer, I will not know the answer, that the question is quite, well, not so hard, I guess. Okay, it's reporting. Oh, the beach wins the thing. We have 15 people. You can see on the bottom right the 15 people that voted. We have, what is it? 6, 1, 2, 3, 4 rows for 6 is 24. Now it's like 30. We should be at 30 something there on the bottom right. The mountains catch up. The mountains catch up. Something went wrong.
Oh, that was there before, I don't think so.
I quickly reload. One again. Okay, so there's 8 people roughly should still vote. Did everybody who wanted to vote, did they vote? This is obviously just a technical test to see whether the tool works.
Well, before the beach loses.
The mountain actually, they catch up. And the good thing here is you have the beach and the mountain on the other side. And but let's not talk about the city of Neum. Anyway, so anybody who got technical issues? Does it work for you?
It doesn't load the page.
Is it second?
It doesn't load the page.
Doesn't load the page. Are you connected to the internet?
Yeah.
Then it might be Wi-Fi. Then maybe quickly check with your neighbor. Again, it doesn't. Okay. Menti.com, just written on the top.
Yeah, it's like a code. So. Yeah. You use the code for like online quiz and some presentation.
Okay. Anyway, so for those where it doesn't work, it doesn't really matter. It's just to get a rough idea where we are at. So you should go to the next slide. Either it happens automatically or you're asked to change the slide. And now the question is, how far into your studies are you? And the question is semester 1 or 2, or is it 3 to 4? I think it's 3 to 6 plus or way above studies like PhD student, postdoc, whatever. Again, just to get a rough idea where we are at. Way above the. I have a rough feeling who that is. We have a couple. Didn't you just say we're very young people here? Where are the young people? They're gone. They're replaced. All right. Then let's move on to the next slide. For So by training, by your first degree or your studies or whatever you choose, who are you? Are you a physicist, a biologist, a chemist, or something else? Whatever something else might be. Oh, welcome, fellow physicists. Very good. We know who the biologists are. We don't know who the biologists are.
Can you guess who is the second one?
Oh yeah, I know. I remember. Two biologists. Oh my god. Okay, just by no chemist. That's good. Just by out of curiosity, if you don't want to tell, you don't have to. What is other? Who voted other, and what is that? Computer science. Second. Electrical engineering. Okay. Let's move over here.
I'm an actor.
An actor, wonderful. Anybody else? Yeah. Computer science, a couple of computer science people. And over there. Electrical engineering. That's close enough to physics, that's fine. So, okay, but we're all natural scientists except for one actor. Do you have any idea about natural sciences?
Yes.
Really? It's not, I mean, this is a great opportunity to learn in both ways, basically. So you learn about acting and you could learn about natural sciences. Again, take the opportunity to talk to other people. So this is your chance to meet an electrical engineer, a chemical engineer, biologist, and so on. You know them before, but anyway. Now, a very interesting question. Why are you here? And I acknowledge that beach is a good answer. It is a good answer, but maybe there are other reasons as well. Let's skip beach for the reason. But why are you here? Just out of curiosity. Hey, you know beach? Fun, curiosity, is that for all good reasons? Nice people, let's see about that. You haven't met them yet. Let's see. Couple of physics. We actually have very few physics talks here. To not be at home, that's a good one. Meet people, new experiences, networking. We'll see. We'll see, yeah? That's fine. As long as you stay curious and actually will see, that's fine. Ways. Useful for future careers, fun. Oh, it's fun. Oh, professional products from the purpose. Okay? Meet people to promote science communication. Like to eat a lot, but it's just vanished. Yeah. Let's wait till that one comes up again. People learn something new. The eating part will come up. Likes to eat a lot, very good. Enjoy dinners and lunches. From 1 to 10, 1 being the absolute lowest, you have no clue whatsoever, 10 being you are the grandmaster of the world, nobody knows more than you. How would you rate your experience level in science communication, and your interest in science communication? So again, 1 being the absolute lowest, 10 being you are the guru, the grandmaster of them all. Okay, 17. You get a rough idea. So you get the mean, but you also get the distribution. The experience level in science is like a 2-peak one. that is always interesting.
I think we get one grandmaster there.
Yeah, no, that's the interest. Oh no, there's a grandmaster of science. That's right. Yeah, that's a 10. Oh, the interesting part is the more experienced the group is, the less experience they make themselves in science. So when you do that with postdocs, they usually rate themselves like a 3 or 4 because they already know what they don't know. So anyway, so medium size, that's 2 big ones for the science communication, somewhat broad. Some have some experience, some have less experience, some have more experience. The interest is high, which is good because that's what you will be talking about. So if the bottom one would be like 2 or so, we should stop here. And finally, last question before we start actually the talk. We have a program set. However, we can adapt it, we can change it, we can put other highlights. What are you actually interested in? What kind of formats, what kind of topics, what are you interested in? Just anything in specific? Can you use it? Ah, that's good. There again, the laptop should be fine as well.
No, it's the one here.
Okay. Okay, so video editing, physics, video project, communication, finding new friends, virtual reality, augmented reality, we have an expert over there. Art forms, we have the expert over there. Making videos, we talk about that. The universe, we might not cover that. Eating a lot, you can do that yourself. Get fat, go for it, eating. Okay, project writing. It seems like we cover most of that. Don't you have anything to eat here? Drink, eat. Okay, so 36, that should be fine then. Okay, so now that we know each other this, let's go for science communication. There are 3 questions you always need to ask yourself. Why do you do it? How do you do it? And what is it actually? And we do it the other way around. Because the what is it is actually not there is no clear cut. Whenever you ask somebody what is science communication, you get different answers. And that's work. So what is it? And I usually like to think in terms of stakeholders. Who are the relevant people, the relevant groups when you talk about science communication? And obviously, the scientists. The scientists are in the middle, and they are obviously depicted by the big brain. Then you have, who else could you have? Layman people, okay, like, we come to that and we keep that in mind. Science journalists, okay. Yeah. Journalists. Who else?
Teachers.
Teachers, yeah. Second? Funding, yeah. So we have the funding agencies, depicted by the piggy bank. Anybody else?
Industrialists.
Like
The private sector.
yeah, the private sector. I have 2 more just to make it easy. This is a very, very, very easy, simple way to look at it. I put politicians and whatever you call the public. That might be teachers, that might be people from industry, that might be anybody else. So, however, I tell you right away, if the public is your target group, that just means you don't have a target group. So the public is way too broad to just address them with something. So always think about slightly more details, just to make it very easy. Okay, what is it? When you look at the definition, and let's see whether the sound system works. Right. Can you hear something? No. Wait a second. Can you hear that?
Science communication largely is about communicating to non-experts. You cannot stay in your ivory tower talking to your specialist chums and colleagues in your specialist area. That doesn't wash it anymore. You have to stay out of that arena, you have to talk to other specialist scientists, but also talk to wider stakeholders themselves. You need to sell what you're doing. Scientists have an obligation to communicate what they're doing. All of us as taxpayers within the European Union are investing in these individuals, are investing in their labs, investing in the work that they do. So there's an obligation for them to actually communicate about it. There's a huge amount of research going on in really important topics that actually never really get to where it needs to be, whether it's to a policymaker, whether it's to a professional group, or whether it is actually for commercialization. So again, the scientists must really think about this. If they want their research to continue, if they want to continue receiving funding, then it's really important that they actually start to communicate more effectively.
There's a big difference between dissemination and communication.
Dissemination is their day job. Dissemination is about the production of papers that can be presented to peer-reviewed journals and ensuring that those are published.
Communication is to inform and reach out to society. It should be addressed to multiple audiences that go beyond the project of the community, while the audiences for the dissemination are the ones that may use the result. We've tried in the grant agreement also to make this split and be very explicit. So we have different paragraphs. We have in the paragraph 38.1 for the communication aspect and paragraph 29 for the dissemination aspect.
I like how at the end they show you how not to do it. But anyway, so this is basically from the 5 years ago, from the European Union, from the Horizon program. What do we understand as science communication? Again, if you ask somebody else, you might get a different answer. There's not a clear-cut term. However, and I like the general idea, science communication is, in my book, everything that goes out from scientists to non-scientists. That's pretty much my definition, in whatever shape and form. And for the rest of the talk, I will use this definition again. You might have different ones, that's fine, but this is what we're going to use now. It is not communication within the scientific community. Again, if two physicists talk, it is still some kind of communication in science, but it's not what I call science communication. So let's stick to scientists to non-scientists. And again, why do we do it? And then you can look at the stakeholders and I give you a very, very simplified picture now. You have like this castle with all the tiny frames inside. This is obviously a university or a research institution or whatever. What are they interested in? Which target groups do they want to reach? In this very, very simplified picture. Funding agencies, yep. And to a minor degree, maybe politicians to get some decisions in their favor. In an ideal world, they would also try for the public, but many universities actually just want to reach the funding agencies. So, the funding agencies, what are they interested in?
In something that they can in some way, some great idea that can have great impact.
Okay, but who do they want to impress? Let's put it that way. The public, yeah. Politicians? Okay. So like that, the public maybe like this, but the politicians, because they actually make the decision whether this or that funding agency gets money next year. So, again, they are not really the science journalists. Well, we'll come to that in a second. Politicians want to get re-elected. Again, very, very simplified picture. Just to give you an idea of that different people have different interests in communication. A science journalist, I often use or think of them as like the channel to distribute things. So the university is interested to actually inform that science journalist so he or she spreads it into the world. Again, very simplified picture. The single scientist, not the university like the institution, but the single scientist. What is he or she interested in? And just to collect a bit, we collect right now. So I brought a sample of roughly 30-something scientists right in front of me. Why do you think science, or why do you want to communicate science? You personally. Let's collect a bit. So just give me something I can write down. Let's turn that a bit. So I can look at you.
It's fun and people should be amazed at looking at those different things that are really, really fun and great and weird, and nobody gets to learn about these things because teachers or some other people that know those science facts didn't communicate good enough for them to be amazed and interested in it.
Okay, it's fun. And amazing, maybe. I switch a bit. Amazement. Okay, anything else? Second? To rule the world. Yeah. You won't do that in science communication, John. Maybe, yeah?
So to make use of an idea, it should be presented to the broad public. And the broad public does not necessarily understand your ideas. And that's important to simplify and explain it.
So making people understand your ideas. That would be, okay?
One because I'm passionate about it, and I like talking about things that I'm passionate about.
Okay.
And the other is some of it is just important to share. Like, I don't know, there's a new method to deal with cancer. People should know about that, so people could save lives.
Okay, I even make 3 out of it. The passion, the important, and could save lives, yeah?
To challenge and change some old and outmoded ideologies and old perspectives that are not helpful or dangerous to society.
Okay. Challenge old thinking.
Yeah.
Okay. It's pretty much the definition of science, I think. That's your main job. Challenge the way people think, yeah?
If we got new ideas, maybe get a different opinion.
Yourself, you mean the scientist, okay? Pick up new ideas, form different opinions. Okay?
And I think you learn best when you speak.
Okay, yeah.
To recruit new people.
Okay, to?
To recruit new people.
Recruitment, okay, yeah. Absolutely. Getting students in. Anything else? Yep.
To help people.
How?
Well, if the more people understand what you are saying, the more people understand your idea and it's important, the more your project can grow and reach like more target audiences and hope more.
Okay.
Can I just jump in? Making informed decisions.
Making informed decisions. Yeah. You mean the public or yourself as a scientist?
Well, both.
Okay, I just wrote both ways. Okay?
I mean, sometimes also just to find this business mistake and just can't find on your own.
Okay, one mistake. Okay. And somebody has been volunteered, yeah?
Well, not just to better our lives or to innovate, but also to fix the mistakes we made in the past, especially with climate change.
Okay.
Finding a way to fix mistakes.
Fixing mistakes. I call it fixing mistakes in society. Would that be okay? Oh. I always have to fit it in one line.
To become famous and popular.
Become famous. Now we're talking. Anything else?
Maybe related to her question, to explain a unique idea which are not recognized before.
Okay. So challenge thinking, explain new ideas. Yep. Okay. We stop here unless there's something really, really important. We stop here because there's no more space. Very simple. But again, we have plenty of reasons and they're different, very different. So, fun, amazement, rule the world, be famous, making informed decisions as a scientist, but also as a society. If nobody knows about climate change, for example, nobody can care about, nobody can do something about it. So, it is your job as a scientist to actually make people care. So, this is just from other courses. So, similar groups as you, slightly more experienced, some more less experienced, public understanding the importance of science, informing about democracy, entertainment, the obligation, because of the taxes, you should know. To get it out of the way, I strongly believe you shouldn't justify for using tax money. So never justify, but explain. Because in the society, actually, we want to have science and we want to pay scientists. They shouldn't need to justify. But they should explain what they're doing with the money because it is society, it is tax money. Recruitment, advertising to get money. What else did we have? I just go through the ones we didn't have. Building networks, have fun we had. To get a job. Get outside, make your face known, get a job. We'll come to that later on. Improve knowledge, contribute to the discourse, show off. I like show off. Just over here, show off. Avoid fake news, and we certainly come to that. So keep all those in mind. That was the course in German. Just to that was the HDMI cable. Which is back in a second. So those are all valid reasons to actually communicate science. What I like here is Sichtbarkeit, which is visibility in German.
Okay. Now it's on.
We're talking about visibility and the cable goes somewhere. Okay, so visibility within the university, within your scientific peer group, to the outside. All three aspects. So, within, for example, as an example, if you talk about the science, if you just make an example up, if you have a YouTube channel explaining physics to, I don't know, you will, after a couple of months, years, you will be recognized within your university. Oh, you are that person with. That will happen, I promise you that. To motivate others. Okay, I give you one from like a publication like 10 or so years ago, which I like. I just have a quick read. So, everybody through? Okay. The message here is basically, if you don't do it, somebody else will. They might have not the same interest as you. To give you a very simple example, just don't do it now, but you can imagine what happens. If you Google vaccines, climate change, black holes and particle accelerators, whenever you Google stuff like that, strange stuff happens. So, just to give you a very famous example in Germany, you might have heard of him, hopefully not. Does anybody know this guy? The Germans know him for sure. Anybody here? This is a very famous vegan chef called Attila Hildmann. He was very famous and he was like vegan for fun and vegan for fit and he was like the fitness vegan and stuff like that. Very, very nice guy. And during Corona, this is the same person. He completely changed to a conspiracy theorist and talks about how Corona chips you and the vaccines are bad and it's that's a huge conspiracy theory and everything. Same guy, selling you vegan food or cookbooks, selling you conspiracy theories within like a year. And he has like a huge audience. He has a huge audience, like millions of people follow him on social media, TV and so on. He's not on TV anymore, obviously, but so keep that in mind. If you don't do it, he will. And well, just look at it. So they might not have the best interest in mind. They don't know what they're talking about because they have like potentially some weird conspiracy theory in their head. Or that doesn't need to be that extreme, but if you want to get funding for your field because you think electrical engineering is really important, go for it. Make it interesting. I believe it's part of our job, which doesn't mean everybody has to do it, but at least let the people do it who want to do it. That's a fun. That would be fun for me. So, how do we do it? And I split the world now in 3 parts, which is again very, very simplified. Dialogue format, one-way format, and online format. And sometimes they're all entangled and have various components. Just to give you an idea about the breadth of formats we have. So just in terms of the dialogue format, you might know some dialogue means you talk to people and you actually get into a dialogue. The science show, the day of the open door, you do exhibitions, festivals, the night of science, you might have something similar here. Meet the scientists, soapboxes, pub quizzes, skeptics in the pub, and so on and so on. So you basically just get into touch with people and talk to them about science. And again, this is not an extensive list, there are many, many, many more, just to give you an idea of format. So, one-way formats are, you do like a press release. You tell the world why this is important. You put a poster somewhere in the subway. Board games where you cannot really have a dialogue because you're just not there. Shows, lectures. Lecture might be somewhere in between. A book. If you write a book about science, why physics is important, you obviously cannot get into a proper dialogue while the person is reading the book. Geocaching, comics, science class, and so on. And of course, many, many, many online things. Tiana will talk about that on Friday. You know them potentially all. TikTok, online forums, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, whatever. And many, many others. So let's go through a couple. And I want you to do a quick exercise. Super quick. I want you to take your cell phone. So take it to you. Video yourself telling a story in 3 segments. So we need 3 short videos. Each should be something like 15 to 20 seconds. Not longer. 15 to 20 seconds. And I will tell you what kind of video we need. You talk about your science. You start the first video by saying, "Hi, I am the name," and so on. But whatever you want to introduce yourself as. Make sense? And then you talk about a bit of yourself, what you're doing. The second one is, once we have done that, that gives you a small clue how to end the first video. Once we have done that, we do something else. Still talking about your science. The third video you start by, finally, we or I, whatever floats your boat, and you end the third video by, and that's how we make the world a better place. While talking about your science. Make sense? You introduce yourself, talk about the science. Once we have done that, finally we do that. That's how we make the world a better place. with your son. Make sense? Don't think about it, just do it. So take your cell phone, just ignore that if all the other people are talking. Right now, yes. And the good thing is, only you have the video. You can delete it afterwards. So you don't have to upload it anywhere, so just go for it. So take your cell phone, take the video function, go video, do like that, and just go for it. Hi, I am. Once we've done that, finally we, and that's how we make it work. Okay? Okay, again, don't think about it. That's the important part. Just start. Don't think about the script, just go for it. You can do it once more, but literally it should take 45 seconds. So, off you go.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you know.
Just leave it up. All right, so for those that are still talking, just finish. Then. Okay, circles going down. Wonderful. Congratulations. Is anybody doing science communication on Instagram? You just created your first science Instagram story. So if you want, upload it. Maybe do it again in a slightly, just in a room where you can actually understand each other and stuff like that. But this is it. This is authentic. It is you. It is about your science. It tells you everything you need to know in 45 minutes. And I promise you that every single video you just did is better than 95% of what's out there. And if you don't believe me, I go through Instagram, we look at it. And I promise you it's better than 95%. So make it authentic, make it about you. That's the message here. So again, I give you a couple of examples from my own work, and just to not to show how great, what kind of stuff we're doing, but just to show you how easy it is sometimes to get started. My pet people always say, we need like this and a production studio and this and this and this. No, it can start super easy and super small and then scale up. So, and I want to talk about the exhibition. That was basically my real start into science communication. We talked about stage stuff, workshop, seminars, and career options in the end. My very first contact with science communication was a science slam. Science slam. Has anybody never heard of the term science slam? No? Okay, so does everybody know what a poetry slam is? Has anybody never heard of a poetry slam? Okay, so then I explain science slam right away. A science slam is a fun competition of usually like 5 or 6 people, scientists, who have 10 minutes on a stage giving a presentation. So you talk 10 minutes about your science in a fun, understandable, engaging way. And then the audience, in some shape or form, votes which talk was the best. The best could be the funniest, the most informative, the most entertaining, whatever criteria they have. And this person then gets a fun prize, like, I don't know, what did we have? Boxing class. Or I had like the Bamble of Wisdom, which is like a ceramic jar, like a fun trophy. That was my first thing. And then, by various coincidences, I got in touch with the ministry in Hessen, and they asked me to, for reasons I still don't know until today, to build an exhibition on science, like for kids and the general public, where we have like exhibits making science understandable. And that's what we built, a particle accelerator with our workshop at university. This is actually a school gym. And you see that there's a PhD student and a couple of very small kids, in this case, running around. There was the same gym, different exhibits. There was like a museum where we actually took over the whole place and put many exhibits. And the important part is there's a PhD student, there's a PhD student, there's a PhD student, and there's always people explaining stuff with the exhibits. This was like a weekend we did with that stuff. We built telescopes, and again, we built telescopes by going to a Home Depot. Okay, super simple, super easy, lots of fun for people. We did astrophotography, and let's skip that since it's in German. But then again, it's just that the school that was a huge success, and they want to do it again, and they now have a physics course again after we were there. Again, exhibit, this is a particle detector made out of wood, just to show the very, very principles of what it is about. Not the technical details, but the principle. Again, this is a synchrotron, like a particle accelerator. This is bought from IKEA. We call it our IKEA accelerator. And I can explain you every single thing about the synchrotron using this exhibit. From beam jumps to betatron oscillation to whatever you know. And again, there's a PhD student over there explaining, asking the right questions. Again, on the particle accelerators, just to show some pictures, and it works. This is like a major exhibition in Germany. It's called the Hessentag. Like there are concerts and like a festival. And the ministry in Hessen said, like our state, let's do a science, whatever you want to call it, booth, like slightly larger than that. And they built like 70 meters and packed with science exhibits. And people actually came. People are interested. If you make it engaging, if you make it interesting for them. So, again, funny exhibits, just to do that. Let's have a very short exercise again. Everybody has a piece of paper in front of them, right? Okay, I give you 2 minutes. Everybody individually put down a very rough sketch. Literally 2 minutes. It doesn't need to be pretty. Just the first idea that comes, maybe not the first, but one of the first ideas that has come to your mind. An exhibit that can explain some certain aspect. Just a tiny aspect or general principle, the topic in general, whatever you want, about the research you are doing, the field you are studying.
Must it be the
No.
very research that we are doing,
No.
or something?
Can be related to, can be something else. One of the first thing where you say, yeah, that's a good idea, which comes to your mind. Just literally 2 minutes. It doesn't need to be pretty, just a very rough sketch. Something you can play around with maybe. Okay, 20 seconds. Again, very rough. No need to be pretty, no need for details. All right. Now for literally 30 seconds, just swap it with your neighbor, and for 30 seconds explain in one direction, and for 30 seconds explain it in the other direction, okay? Just explain to your neighbor what you did, what you mean, what it should depict, how it works, but literally for just very roughly 30 seconds, and then after 30 seconds we swap the other way around. Okay. Okay, swap the other way around. So the other person is ready to you now. If you are done already. But is it both ways already? Okay, perfect. Okay, okay. Okay, so test number. All right. So again, for 2 minutes. What do the just pick random people? Can I ask you? How's her idea? Is it feasible? Could you do that? You like the idea, that's good. So you spend like 2 minutes and somebody else likes the idea already. So that's good. That's a very, as that was just the cost to impact ratio was already positive, I'd say. So, very good. Again, 2 minutes, idea. A very short exercise, just take, well, think about like for a couple of seconds, what do I need to build it? What do I need to build that? And let's have a homework. While you are thinking about what you need to build it, I challenge you, once you're back home, do it. Just do it. Make a prototype. Even some of you certainly will have, oh, we have that huge room and it's full of technology and so on. I'm pretty sure there are some of these, that's fine. However, create a prototype. Take some cardboard, take some whatever you have lying around. In our office we have like one room which is just random stuff we use for prototypes. Whenever we have styrofoam or in some packaging, we never throw it away. We can always use it for a prototype. So just take random stuff you have at home, do a prototype. So once in a science communication seminar at university, back in Frankfurt, some people came up with this exhibit. They had the same challenge as you have. They want to, it is about the cancer therapy with heavy ion radiation, which is famous in our area. They need a particle accelerator, which is obviously just, the particle accelerator is just rolling down a marble. The marble rolls down, gets faster, that's a particle accelerator. But you have to get it exactly as fast as you need it to put in a certain test tube here. because that's where your tumor is. If you hit this one, this is obviously, this is healthy tissue, that's where your tumor is. So you have to get the right speed for the marble. And you can adjust that here with your angle, and that's everything we need to explain for heavy ion therapy. And they actually built a prototype. And I was in deep love when I first saw that. They wanted to cut open the bear in half, but they just couldn't do it. So, but that's everything you need to know about heavy ion therapy. You can explain every single, not every single detail, but all the concepts with this exhibit. And there are facilities, particle accelerator facilities and medical facilities who spend millions on advertising. This is worth more than that, because it makes the concept clear to somebody who doesn't know. Without advertising. Anyway, so start building your facilities. So just a very, very, very rough prototype. Just do it in a week. That's fine. Check. There. So once we have done that exhibition and built prototypes and built the real deal, things happen for some reason. We always wonder, how can we actually get to, we went to schools, we went to exhibitions, and we wondered, how can we go to the stuff we actually also want to do, like the Frankfurt Book Fair. We wanted to go there because we said, yeah, that might be an interesting target group. How can we go there? And at some point, people asked us to come. So we met somebody by coincidence, because we were somewhere at an event, and the head of the Frankfurt Book Fair came to us and said, yeah, that looks great. Do you want to come? And we went from, okay, we just cannot afford it because it's way too expensive, to, oh, we are invited because we are doing great stuff. So we went there, we did it, we did science, and after like a couple of days, people came to us, like the booksellers next to us, and what are you actually selling? There's so many people here. We are selling nothing. We give stuff away for free. We did science for refugees with that. This is the Hessian Parliament, we went there. We even were invited to the federal, I think it's called the Federal Council, the Bundesrat in Berlin. They needed somebody to represent the Hessian science, the science of the state. They didn't ask the big universities. For some reason, which I still don't understand, they asked us. Because we had a couple of motivated people, PhD students in this case, who want to talk about science, have a bit of stuff to do it, that's it. That's all they needed. They didn't ask professors, they asked motivated PhD students. That's how we started. So what worked? Say yes. If somebody asks you, do you want to take part in this project? Usually before I have the ending of the sentence, I said yes in my mind. Of course we do. Sounds fun? Let's do it. So, on stage, that's where we started. And again, we started the Science Slam. At some point people asked, oh yeah, you did like a 10-minute presentation on science. That was fun. Can you do a 30-minute presentation? So I talked about physics in Hollywood. Does physics work in Hollywood movies? And they asked, can you do half an hour of that? Can you do an hour of that? At some point people asked, a company told me, how much does it cost? And when you, as a physicist, somebody asks you, can you